Hello, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. So I have a lot to tell you, little time to do it because I am moving again. So you might not see me for the next few weeks on and off. We have a new schedule going on. We got new goals. I'm going to tell you the best curriculum and the least curriculum that I didn't like. I'm going to show you inside two different readers to compare them, reading systems, just to let you know what you think. One of them being Abeka and my opinions and my thoughts on it. Okay, so let's start with best book of the year. This was by far the best curriculum choice book of the year. This is the story of Jesus's people. I use both secular and Christian curriculums. And what it is, I had a favorite of secular and a favorite of Christian. This is my favorite of Christian. What it is just the story of God throughout history. So however God came to a country. So for example, Martin Luther brought it to Germany. Queen Olga brought it to Russia. St. Patrick brought it to Ireland. The stories are about 3 pages each, and then it has a little summary, and it's just fantastic. I read it during dinner to my kids. They really enjoy it. They really enjoy it. I am like the TV during meals. Okay, next up we got, this is my new schedule because I want to really focus hard next year, especially on table work. We haven't done a lot of table work, but I just think it will improve concentration, patience, focus, all that stuff to do some table work. And we're starting out with, for the youngest who's 7, ADHD, we started out doing some craft work that he had to do at the table. It's not like, oh, we force everyone. This is just what we're doing at the table. You can't force people to sit at a table. However, here's the thing, is if you don't do this work now with me, well, then when it comes time for you to use your iPad, well, then I might not be available because I'll be doing something to help you with your work then. So this is kind of the time now for help with your schoolwork, right? And so I sit down at the table with one on one side doing independent subjects. These are independent subjects, right? Because I do group subject during breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which we learn an incredible amount. So this is our new schedule here. We got play with mom. That's first thing in the morning so that everyone's baskets are full of love. Then we got breakfast and learning. Then they play by themselves where I do some work, usually edit a video, although lately do stuff for our move. 2 lies I tell myself every move are, I don't have that much stuff, and this move is going to be the easiest move ever. Okay, so then we do table time together. Then it's outside time. Either I go for a walk with them or we play games together if the weather's not good. After that, they can do math and reading, although usually lately we've been finishing that up during table time. That's another thing about math. I'm going to talk to you about what we used this year and what I thought was really successful, but what we started using, and I don't know how I feel about that. Then we do lunch and learning again. So that can be TV or it can be books, depending on if we're studying certain countries, then we can watch some YouTube videos on them. And then we do their chores, and then they can have tablet time in the afternoon. And so that's like the bulk of our schedule that we're really doing, which actually really goes by surprisingly quick. It does not take a long time to do that. Okay. So, and then I'll show you some of the individual subjects that I'm having them do by themselves. At some point I will. Okay, so this is the primary mathematics. I've used all different maths. You know that I've used all different curriculums. Pretty much every single one I have tried and utilized in my life with my children. I have a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old. So we're doing grades 1 through 3. And I don't think 4, but maybe some 4 as well. But anyway, that's the grade range that I'm focusing on. But we are doing primary mathematics 2A. That's what we are starting now. I kind of homeschool year round. However, what we started doing, do you know, so Elon Musk, he ran to this guy that created this school for his kids, also created, you can go to that school online now, by the way, it's $100 a month. So I'm going to do that eventually because it's not really a full school. It's just to learn these basic principles of knowledge and how to apply them to any subject, any topic, any field. So I'm going to do that eventually. But right now, what we do, anyway, that guy also created, whose name I don't know, also created the synthesis app, the math synthesis app, the AI app, which you probably saw online. I've seen it for a few years and was not impressed. I did not like it. Was like, no, I'm not going to use it. I don't know why. All of a sudden, I said, all right, you can do that app. Why don't we try it out? I don't know why. But it worked amazingly well for math time. He just zooms through it because it's done at his pace. It's AI, which sounds so strange to me, but it knows, it's intuitive enough to know what he can grasp really quickly and move on. So he's just progressing so quickly through. That being said, I don't necessarily I think that this is a better curriculum. I think it's a little stronger, but not really, because that's intuitive. So he can move through things that he doesn't get. They can explain it in a couple different ways. But this so I think I want them to do both. To be honest, I think I'm going to do both. So I don't know how that's going to go. I don't know if that's screwing up my children. I don't think so, but That app is $55 for the family or $35 for one kid. So I have both kids doing that app now. So we'll see how that goes. If it drops off, I mean, it's just per month. I did not sign up for the year, which you get a discount if you sign for the year, but I'm not going to commit to that. So yeah. And so this is the Mathematics 2A that I want to continue on. Again, they know a lot of this stuff already. I just want to make sure that they really get the basics down. Another thing that we are implementing before I get to the 2 different reading systems that we use this year, we actually use 3. We use BJU Press, we use Craft Right Brain Readers, and we used Abeka, the reading systems. So I have 3 to show you and 3 to compare, but I'm only going to do the 2 comparison today because the other one I just do is a read aloud because it just does story elements that I think are important, character, setting, things like that. But one thing I want to talk to you about is what I'm starting to do is I'm keeping the ACTs in mind, that standardized testing, the ACTs. The reason I'm keeping that in mind is because by the age 12, I'm sure my children, based on the system I have, which is not overly aggressive, I assure you, if you've watched my channel, but they know a lot and they learn a lot really quickly. And that's just because I use mnemonic devices. It's this system I use that is not super complicated. So anyway, I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about how I want them to start college at 12. And that just means take a class. That means take an online class with me if they are emotionally and physically ready for that, right? So if they are mentally prepared for that, and I think educationally they will be. So in order to do that, I have to start looking at the ACTs. So I'm going to include a link of this guy that I found because I put in ACT help because I was a little confused. And he already in that one video taught me a grammar rule that I was previously unaware of. So even if I'm not using it this year because my kid's 9, specifically, even if I'm not using it this year, in a year or so, I will take the ACT, his video course so that I can then teach my kids those rules. Do you know what I mean? Or he can teach them by watching those videos as well. So I'm going to include that link. You can watch it as a short video just to see what I'm talking about so that it doesn't seem as intimidating and so that regardless, even if you don't do it at this time, at least you have it for in the future when you want to help your kids with different grammar rules and math rules that are expected on the ACTs. So now let's talk about, okay, so here we got the Abeka reading series, which comes with, there's 1 teacher's manual per book, and there's like A, B, C, D, E, F. There's like 7 books per year, approximately. Each book has about 114 pages. Now, this is not, the problem is A, you don't need the teacher's manual. I'm going to show you in the teacher's manual. Pardon the messiness, I haven't cleaned up because again, super busy, got to head out to the store. My stepson's coming to visit. Okay, so this is the teacher's manual. So this is the book. It's going to be the same book. So the teacher's manual, let me see if I can adjust the camera, is $20. Okay, so the contents, these are already written in here. So any of the white pages are in here. All you have here are, so ASAP, again, these are in, so these are the story character themes, right? So humility, gratitude. This is why I like Abeka, because it has a lot, it has such good morals. So then this is the story, words to watch for steep, rising sharply, steep, rising sharply. So you don't need the teacher's manuals because I have this teacher's manual, I bought it and I bought all the books without it. It still has these like multiple choice questions here or like reading comprehension questions. So you don't need it. It just has additional ones. But again, like I said, you don't need it. So it's still got the words. So it doesn't have really anything super extra. It's just like, have you ever been afraid of the dark or something bigger than you? Let's see what the scared little fox, how he did it and what he did about it, right? So it has like an intro question, which again, I just don't think you need, because at the end it's got reading comprehension questions for you. So it is nice to have, but it's $20 for each one of these and like $14 to $20 for these. Now, the other problem I had with this, let me show you in. So this is grade 1, 1F, okay? Let me show you in this, is that it's more teacher intensive than the other system. So you get to read this book, words to practice, it's all really good. Now, my problem is that I have stepped up the amount of reading that my son is doing independently. So I put both kids on the other system I'm going to show you and then switched one to this one. The other's doing so well on that one. I'm going to keep him on that one and then switch him to this system, but not at the level 1F. He's not going to start down here. He'll probably start at like 2, 3, or 4. Okay, depending on where he is. So that system's super easy, and I've tried every learn to read system. That's not an exaggeration. So anyway, take a look through this book. It's got bright pictures. So this is for the grade 1 level. But again, sorry, as I was leading, 1A through F I have done 1A and we've started 1B, and it's the end of the year almost. So I have stepped it up, but I was like, that's him reading one story a day. So I really have to, okay, then we got to read a few stories a day is what we're going to do, right? And what I like is there is God in this, but there is not God in the other. So the other one is just purely to teach you to read. These are teaching you morals, values, and things like that in a God-based system, if you will. Okay, so a lot of pretty pictures, great. This is not independent though, like, because let me see what I show you. Okay, so let me give you an example. I was gonna bring in the exact book we're using, but so you sit down here and it's got words to watch for, warm, housetop, master, but there's also words in here that the child hasn't read before, that aren't in previous stories, that I have to sit here because my son will be like, whoa, 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 and like sound it out, but not get it correctly sometimes. So I have to sit and read with him and correct it. Okay, so that's frustrating because they're not introducing these words. They're not all introduced is what I'm saying. Like these words are not like, oh, these are all your new words. No, there's additional new words on top of that. Whereas this system right here. So let me show you this system. So this is 1C. Okay, so they're like kind of the same, not really. They're not in a different, oh, this was through a flood. But I didn't want to buy a new one because again, it's 20 bucks a book. Okay, so let me show you how this system goes. Now this system starts at the very bare bones thing. So this is halfway through the system, but it still follows the same format. These cards these are flashcards if you need them for the child with mnemonic devices. These are just the sounding out words that you're learning. Buck, duck, luck, suck, tuck. So these are the new words. These are the old words that you have already previously learned. So I go over these with my son too. Buck, hissed, licked, nipped, sucked, and yum. And we talk about some of the definitions too, like nipped means bite and stuff, because it's more focused on learning these sounds and learning how to read than it is specifically being modern. Do you know what I mean? So then it goes duck and fox. All these words have been learned the same way. So when you get here, there's no new words that he has not encountered, except for these words right here, buck, ducks, luck, suck, tuck. Whatever the sound is they're learning that time. So here's another example. This is come. That's the word on the flashcard if you need it. We don't no longer need them. But in the beginning, that was very helpful. They also have E for egg. See, that's why this picture's here. Egg, because that's the sound. It's a mnemonic device. This reading program, I started at 7, taught all my kids to read, even though I had used All About Reading, even though I had used all these other systems, it wasn't progressing fast enough where they were actually being independent. Getting your children to read means a world of difference, right? Because then they can do a bit more on their own. And then you just have to get them used to reading, instructions and things like that on their own and being there for them if they need assistance in the beginning. Okay, so beg, leg, peg. Those he has not read before, right? And these are the pre-readings. So words he has learned before, doctor, mans, and my. So then the peg leg. So again, there's not a lot of pictures, but these are all words now that he has read previously because again, this is level 1C. So these are Craft Right Brain Readers, level 1, A, B, and C. So you can still do any different reading program. Like I said, I took my child off this and switched him on to here, whereas the other child continued on this. The first child just did the first book. Even halfway through the first book, I was like, well, let's switch you to this one. It's just not as smooth and it's not as easy to learn to read. So I constantly am torn to have him do this system again. So anyway, there's like 2 stories in the beginning. Yeah, there's about 2 pages to 4 pages that they have to read. And then here we go again. Play. We got the S sound again. Bell, fell, sell, tell, well. They can sound those out. These are words they can sound out, so they're learning how to sound out. And then these are the pre-reading words that I go through with him. And then independently, because he's read all these words before, he can do the reading on his own. So it's a lot better system to me to teach kids to read. And then it has different transparencies, which my son uses. Oh shoot, I gotta find where he was. Which helps some kids. It comes with a green transparency, comes with a white transparency, just because my son uses it. I don't know, it's just supposed to help some kids. Anyway, so these are these books. They're very simple, right? Very simple, but it teaches you to read. They're called the boring little books that always work because they teach all different types of children, no matter what the issues, no matter what's going on, to read very easily. No, almost there. Almost there. I hope that gives you a little insight as to what's going on and gives you some things to think about or not. I don't know, but I hope it helps you. Okay, I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.